Hey everyone, Sunny here again. Here's the next tutorial, which will be focusing on the basics of Sony Vegas. There are a lot of tricks to it, so hopefully by the end of this tutorial, which might be several parts because I'm guessing it's probably going to be long with my ranting and all that, but hopefully I can keep it short, but hopefully you will understand. Let's start with me explaining to you how everything's like set up. First of all, usually when you first open it for the very first time, there's usually a trim screen right around here. I got rid of that really fast. I know a lot of editors that usually get rid of that. If you look at most tutorial videos, they're like, yeah, get rid of that. Honestly, I think it's kind of pointless. It's this, I think. Not entirely sure. To move things around, you just have to grab by these areas where you see like it's a border. To get rid of it, you click X. To move it like around, like outside, you click on these little what are those, circle things, I guess? Yeah, it took me a while to figure that out. I remember once, like, I'd move it, and I couldn't figure out how to move it back, and I was like, what do you do? And I had to look it up, like, how do you move things in Sony Vegas? And then it's like, no, all you have to do is click the little blue. You just click these, and you just move it around. If you accidentally click X on something, which does happen to me a lot, all you have to do is go under View and find the thing that you're looking for, which is what I just X'd out as Project Media. So yeah, I usually have it set up like this, where there's tracks here. See, audio track, video track, stuff like that. I also have the Project Media, video effects, transitions, and media generators. I probably don't need this because I never really use this one because I always go, well, you'll see it, but actually I'll just show you. There's a button here. I mean, in every single video clip, there's this button there, and I'll show you that in a minute. So yeah, and it shows up all the things, so I never really use this, but for transitions, this is pretty much like your only choice to be able to choose. I'll go over transitions and effects and all that in a different video. Right now I just want to kind of show you guys all the basics so you understand what everything is and all that. Well, I'll get started on properties. I usually have it under HD 1080-60i, and yeah, I mean, I think this is automatic, I'm not sure though. But at the end, if you do have to change anything, say start all new projects with these settings. Yeah. Audio stereo, 48, 16, good. Ruler, make sure it's time in frames. I mean, you can play around and see which ones you like, but time in frames is the one that I think is easiest for me. I don't have a summary. I don't do that. So yeah, just if you had to change anything, say start all new projects with these settings, say okay, but play around with it, see how you like it, because I mean it is important. Usually I have it under good. I only look under best if I need to look at a coloring or something to see how it looks, but overall I just have it under good auto. Okay, for the scene I'm going to be using to like kind of play with stuff. I'm going to be using Chuck. All you have to do is click on this button right here, import media. You search through your files, like I already was at Chuck, but you just kind of play around, find it. Pops up here under Project Media. You drag it, you take it, and you drag it down here. And yeah, there you go. And you just click in different parts and it shows you, yeah, the simple stuff. So yeah. Then you see these black bars here, you just click here for that. It's pan crop, and you zoom in a little bit. See? Pan crop's pretty cool. If you ever see like zoom ins, and you can do all that kind of stuff. You use pan crop a lot. Here's, as I was talking about, the little event effects button. You can put different things. Now I'm going to go over the filter packages really quick. This is where I keep all my colorings. See, and it just gives you full colorings and all that. Yeah. But pretty much to make a filter package, if you get a coloring of some sort, all you have to do is, let's see, let me just quickly make a random coloring so I can show you what I'm talking about. Where's my mind going? There we go. Sharpen, soft contrast. I mean, I'll go over all of this later on, where I talk about colorings and all that. For now, just feel free to copy whatever I'm doing if you like how it turns out. Gonna go with the light sharpen there. Coloring becomes like a natural thing to do after a while. It becomes a lot easier than it is. But I mean, you have to get used to it at first. So, yeah, it's just, you have fun with it. Hopefully it turns out pretty, because I always just kind of play with stuff and hope that it turns out good. I know that's not necessarily probably the best thing to do. Actually, let me add some color in here. Or I'll just go with one of the colors I already have. There we go. Ooh. Let's see, is that actually, oh, that actually kind of turned out good. Chalk coloring. Yay. See, that's how I make colorings on a whim. And if you want it to see, then this is when I check best full to see how it looks. I mean, it's not that hard once you get used to it, but see, convolution kernel, let's just show you what. So if you plan on stealing the coloring, green, whatever, blue. I'm sorry if this is like taking forever and you're getting bored, but I don't know. This is what happens when I start editing. I start editing and then I just continue doing stuff that I probably shouldn't, but now we're gonna actually go on to editing, because I'm sure you're probably done with me just playing around. Anyways, so if you want to split, you press S on your keyboard. So I ended up using Youth, so let me just open that up, insert audio track. Here's where you play with like the mutes and stuff. I usually mute it for because you don't want like the background noises unless you want like a voiceover, so it's like, not sure if you can actually hear that. I know that this has problems with actually recording stuff except my voice, and right now I'm having issues with my speakers, so it's all through headphones and have a headset with the mic on it and all that. Anyways, so the song is Youth. You can see here, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I'm gonna like blow out my ears and play it as loud as I possibly can. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be editing quickly to that. I mean, when I say quickly, I mean like not actually putting any effort into it and just making it kind of, so you can just kind of learn how it works. So you can press M to make these little markers here. Actually, let's use a different part of the song, because those beats aren't very defined. I mean, it looks defined, but I realize that there's a lot more in between beats, so let's find something that you can learn from without maybe possibly hearing it. Here we go. This is a good part. So there's that there. Next marker should be here. And here. So you can just use random scenes from this. Yeah, I pressed S again to split it. To trim it, you take this, you just left click, have to think about that, and you drag it over. That's it. To make it faster or slower, you press Control, and you move it over, and yeah. Okay. So pretty simple, not too hard. what else am I missing? Oh, that's an important one. I messed this up so much when I first started using it. Okay, so you see this yellow thing here. This is very important for when you render, because without this, you're going to render it completely wrong. So what you see this yellow thing here, that's where it starts. If it's just there and it doesn't have an ending spot, that means it's going to render out everything, which means all 7 minutes of these clips, unless I delete stuff and all that. It'll render to the last thing on the track. If you want it only to render a specific part, then you use I and O. So I will move it over, O will give it an ending. See, I start, O ending. So if you want it only to render these couple of scenes, you press I there and then O here. Just, it's a tip. I remember, like, because if you double click something, it'll do that and I'll do it for you. I remember when I first started making a video, it stopped randomly and I could not understand why it would just randomly stop. Well, anyways, that's a very important thing to remember, because yeah, otherwise you're going to be very confused like I was. And I mean, you'll figure it out eventually, but just it's a good tip to know before you actually render stuff. So let's just make something quick here without actually using any effects. So where I put the markers, the orange things that you press M for, I'm just gonna press split for the scenes, move it so that drag it so that I see a different scene, and add it here. Let's wait for a different scene. Right now I don't care about talking too much anyways. So you have this. So I mean, pretty simple now. I'm just gonna kind of make it look a little prettier with, if you drag it over, you can give it a little bit of a nice, this is where it gets, if you right click this, whoops, you see where it shows here is where it goes. Yeah, I'm not making any sense. If you right click, you can get this, so it makes different little effects. Down, I mean, overall it's pretty self-explanatory. Look, I usually just stick with this one, which is the default one, so you don't have to worry about changing it. It's the one that works good. So let's see, just move it over, and then you just make it fade in, you just drag it over, and you can play with that too. So let's play with it a little bit. Having fun with this, why not? See? Now it looks all nice. I mean, except for the random scenes, but see? So yeah, let's add something to that. Why not? So yeah. Make sure, see, this is where the next one is. Actually, goes a little bit quick. Right there. So you just fade in. So this is 1 second. So I mean, pretty simple. Not very hard. And let's see how that looks. So I don't know, I actually kind of like it, and surprisingly really like it for how quickly it was. But like once you start getting used to it, you can start adding effects. Like one that I like, you can use it as transition, using Gaussian blur and adding it in. I think I already have an effect for this. I have different beats. See, 200 by 50. See. Let's make this go into black and white, or just purely black and white. Ooh, that looks kind of bad. So let's add glow. If you ever have black and white and it doesn't look very good, just add glow. That's all it needs. No, that's not soft. Mine. big as well. Suppression none, intensity a lot less, actually intensity a lot, but glow percent a lot less. Here we go. See, that looks a lot better. But I kind of also want to make it so it has a glow fade, so just playing around as I said. Oops. Okay, and then so here we go. Whoops. Put them all to 0. Yeah, this here, when you press these buttons, I should have probably said that earlier, but when you press these buttons, it gives you animations. That's what it's called. So pretty much it changes it, so it slowly starts to change. Should probably move that to be a lot less. There we go. So we can also add in pretty transitions. Let's see. I don't want to do anything too boisterous. There's tons of different transitions. I'll go over most of them, but let's, for pretty simple cross blur. This is one that I made myself. Well, like, not made myself, but let's have it go at 100 and destination, so it blurs that one instead. So it goes. Actually, I'm going to change this up a little bit. And as I said, with that glorious pan crop here, you see that, I'm going to do magnificent things with it. This is what I do. I know it looks like it zooms in a lot, because it does, but I'm not going to make it go in that much. Actually doesn't look too bad, but let me just play with that for a second. I mean, I'll show you what I'm going to do with it in a second. See, that's like the extreme, but usually what I do if I wanted extreme, instead of making it go extreme, how big is this fade? Okay, so it's 5, perfect. I'll go in the middle of it, and I'll make it go all the way back, so then here will be kind of extreme, and it kind of goes back fast, and then here it starts slowing down, and it works out kind of nicely, I think. If you want to ask my opinion, that is. I mean, it's just, I use that as effect a lot. I mean, you just kind of play around with it, and it usually comes out to something you like. I mean, that's my experience anyways. Maybe you don't like that effect, maybe you hate that effect. It's up to you, I guess. And as you see, this is kind of, so I'm going to make it zoom in, change it a little bit. Actually no, I'll zoom this one out too. Since this one has an effect, actually what I'll do, since this one already has an effect, I'll make it zoom in slightly. Let me change that. Okay. So pretty much all I did was reverse it. Now we're going to make this do the same as it did for the first clip. So, yeah, I'll just... So yeah, maybe you like that, maybe you don't. Well, I guess you do maybe want to learn how to render it out. So first let me change it. Usually, if it's just rendering a test, I usually give it a few frames out in between. Oops, in, out. If it's rendering for a full project, I usually give it a full, like 3 frames, because sometimes it doesn't render out the full thing. But yeah. Now for render settings, I mean, it's up to you. I personally have better luck with WMV. Well, I know I would love to use MP4, but I have this problem where some of my videos that come out in MP4 come out kind of blurry. Well, actually, let me see if I can find an example. I know I have one someplace. Let's see the orphan black one. Yeah, this one. I mean, you can sort of see it maybe. See like the kind of pixelated, I'm not sure if you see it, but I do. See? Like you can see it on her face a lot. So I mean, I think that's just my computer being really stupid, but whatever. So yeah, I tend to use this. Let's see, custom template. I think this is, no, this is actually just the regular. I don't really do anything special with that. I just look under this and it goes under here. I mean, I have other ones, but that didn't really work out for me. So just, yeah, this is the one that I use to render out stuff, and then you name it here. You put where you want it to go here. Name it here. So let's say Chuck Sarah Test. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it Chuck Sarah Test. So all you have to do is press render. Oh, you also want to say render loop region only, which is what I told you about earlier, where you need to have it, otherwise it'll render out your entire project, which in this case we don't want. Press render, and you let it render, and should only take a little bit because it's not a very long area. Anyways, and then when it's done you can check it out and see how it works. Waiting. And this is how it turned out. One day we'll reveal the truth. I honestly think that coloring looked out pretty nice. Yeah, I really like that coloring. Did I actually ever show you how to save the coloring? I'm not sure if I did. Let's see, did I save it? Yeah, I think I forgot to show you. Yeah, I was gonna show you how to oh my god, I am so off track. Anyways, so you press save as, and it's no new package. I'm gonna call this Chuck Coloring. I usually tend to name it after the fandoms that I use it in. So yeah, got that. And I think that's all there is to it. I mean, another way you can add in colorings is through this. I usually don't use that one because it gives it to the entire thing, so if I put in text and stuff, it'll put it on that too. You can go by here. Once again, I like to use the individual clip, because when you use the individual clip, when you put in black and white, it actually comes out as black and white. Okay, wait, I'm just gonna do this. If I put in the color here, where did it go? Chuck Coloring. And then I put in black and white. See, it kind of comes out as blue. That's why I don't do that much. So I mean, that's it. So yeah, if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. I would not be very surprised if I missed stuff, and I'm really sorry about my ranting / rambling, because that's just kind of how I am. I'm pretty sure I missed stuff, but whatever, I'll cover them in future tutorials. But yeah, now that I've got basics done, I'll be going a little bit more into the specifics. Like, next tutorial should be how to make your own coloring, because that's actually pretty important. And then after that, I'll probably be going into the different kinds of editings, like slow, instrumental, dubstep, all those kinds of things, fast, and I'll give you little examples of each, and I'll tell you which effects you should use for each. Actually, probably before I go into different types of editing, I'll probably teach you transition and video effects. Anyways, I'll go into specifics soon, so just if you have something you really want me to go over specifically, like cookie cutter, pan crop, and 10-minute video pan crop, I don't know, then just tell me in the comments and I'll try my best. So, bye! See you next time!